made some changes and some customizations to it for our situation, and then we got to talking and felt like it would be, it was very important that you hear some of the same information that we heard and have an opportunity to answer some questions, or ask some questions that he could answer. So that's the purpose of this, and then we will probably do one more short training where we will just get with you individually as smaller groups and do some of that. So I'm going to let him give his background and things like that.
Thank you very much. All right. I'm JP French. I'm the State Director for Smart 911 and the Rave Panic Button. First off, I want to say thank y'all for everything that you do. I'm a former educator. My wife's a former educator. She taught business administration 7 through 12. Y'all remember Delaplane before consolidated with Greene County Tech? And then she also taught at Viola School District. I taught criminal justice at Black River and Pocahontas, but I'm retired law enforcement. Born and raised here in Arkansas, grew up in North Little Rock, went to Old Main, North Little Rock High now. Went to Jonesboro, went to school, and then started off working at Craighead County Sheriff's Department and Jonesboro Police Department. I came back, I retired in 2015, I was chief of the law enforcement division for the Arkansas Attorney General's office. That is the same year, if you remember, if y'all been in the system for a few years, that's when Arkansas did the statewide deployment of Panic Button. And there have been a lot of lessons learned since the Panic Button was originally deployed. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Chris is passing out right before we get started. Can I borrow your card real quick? This is for you and your family tonight. When you get home, when you have a chance, just look at this, because what we're going to talk about is the Panic Button that promotes and presents your school district, your school facility, your school's floor plans, emergency contact information, all of that information when you activate the Panic Button. But Smart 911 is for you, your loved ones, your kids, your parents, your pets. So like my oldest son, Drake, has type 1 diabetes. I want dispatch to know if anyone in my profile ever dials 911 that Drake has type 1 diabetes. So I've got that in there. Our little one is 11, Liam. I've got his picture. I got all of our pictures now, and I got the dog's picture, and I got everything in there now. But you can put as much information or as little, whatever you're comfortable with. But Arkansas was the first in the nation to deploy Smart 911 in every 911 center, and the first to deploy Panic Button in all public schools, K through 12. So one other quick fact, Garland County is the most proactive county in the state. Way before Garland County, y'all remember Judge Rick Davis? He purchased Panic Button. He had Panic Button. He was paying for the Panic Button for the county. So all of your county courthouses, your annexes, all of your county facilities has had Rave Panic Button for years. The city has Rave Panic Button. So the mayor's office, the annex, airport, finance, saturated. Y'all's county library, Rave Panic Button. Steve Harrison, the Hot Springs Convention Center, Panic Button. I mean, the Sheriff's Department as well as Hot Springs PD has Smart 911, which they support, what we're going to be talking about today. And also your ambulance service, LifeNet, has all of this integrated. So y'all are covered. With that being said, with the Smart 911 for you and your family, anywhere you go in the state of Arkansas, if you have a safety profile and you ever need to call 911, so let's say y'all go to Fayetteville for a ball game and something happens and you need to call 911, Fayetteville PD, Fayetteville 911, what's your emergency? Your profile pops up there. giving them all that critical information to expedite the correct response to you. So, just food for thought, look at that. I'm Justin Maumelle, so if y'all need anything, and I'm really, really pleased to be working with y'all because y'all's administration, they're empowering you. And it's really refreshing because even though Panic Button is statewide, it's all at the local level of how the administration decides to deploy and who they're going to give credentials to and how they're going to actually allow their staff to utilize. I think you are going to be very, very impressed. I'm impressed. And there's not that many school districts that empower and give y'all the level of flexibility. So I take my hat off and applaud the administration for that. So we're going to talk about Rave Panic Button. Notify staff and 911 with a single touch. We're going to just walk through. Alex, if you can go ahead and go to the... We're going to show a very short video, and then we're going to jump into this, but I will leave plenty of time for y'all to ask questions, and then we'll answer questions, and we'll make sure everybody gets it downloaded and fully understands everything.
When an emergency strikes, seconds and minutes can mean the difference between life and death. Every 15 seconds that an active shooter has unrestricted access to more people, he will claim another victim. Or when someone goes into cardiac arrest and their heart stops beating, every 1 minute that passes without the initiation of CPR, there's a 10% decrease in survival. It goes without saying, rapid response is critical to saving lives in an emergency. Schools, businesses, healthcare, and government facilities experience emergencies of all types every day. If an emergency occurs at work, the Rave Panic Button smartphone app quickly connects you to 911 and at the same time sends an alert to your colleagues and any security personnel on campus. The app can be used during any type of crisis situation, such as incidents that require immediate 911 assistance or cases where only facility staff members need to be notified. How does the Rave Panic Button app work? During the initial setup, administrators are chosen for your facility and will enter information about the campus at www.smart911facility.com. They can enter facility details such as buildings, floor plans, and landlines, as well as employee names, email addresses, and mobile phone numbers. Once you've been entered into the system by an administrator, you can then download and register with the app. iPhone users will download from the Apple App Store and Android users from the Google Play Store. In the store, click Search, then type Rave Panic Button in the search bar. Now, let's say that you have downloaded the Rave Panic Button app and an emergency occurs at your facility where 911 needs to be notified. Whether you are calling from an iPhone or an Android, first identify the button option that closest relates to your emergency. Hold the button down for 1.5 seconds to activate the emergency call. Both iPhone and Android users will be prompted to first confirm the emergency call before being connected to 911. For instance, if you activate Panic Button to report an active shooter on campus, the app will immediately connect you to 911 and send an emergency alert to all employees at the same time. However, if you activate the medical emergency button, 911 will be dialed, but only key administrators and staff with medical training will be notified. Now, as you know, not all urgent situations require dialing 911. For instance, let's say a school teacher witnesses a minor injury during recess. The teacher can then choose the Staff Assist feature to only notify the nurse on campus and key administrators. Another example may be if the smoke detector goes off at your facility but turns out to just be a false alarm. Staff Assist can then be used to notify all on-site employees that it is safe to re-enter the building. Now that we've discussed how the Panic Button app can help in an emergency, what are the next steps? Number 1, ensure your employer has your mobile phone number and email address so you will be authorized to register with the app. Number 2, download the Rave Panic Button app, then register your information. Number 3, in the event of an emergency, use the Rave Panic Button app to be connected to 911 and automatically notify others on campus. There are answers to the most commonly asked questions about Rave Panic Button online at www.ravepanicbutton.com, but it's worth addressing a few of them in this video. The first question most commonly asked is it a requirement to download and use the Rave Panic Button app? While most organizations have not required their employees to download the Rave Panic Button app, it is highly recommended that you do. The app provides a faster notification and communication process, which could be life-saving in an emergency. The second question states, do employees have to use the Rave Panic Button app to call 911? While you are encouraged to use the app to make an emergency call, you should contact 911 in the fastest and safest way possible. The third question most commonly asked is, what happens if an individual activates the Rave Panic Button app while off campus? The answer to this question is, your phone will still dial 911, but no emergency notifications will be sent to employees due to your location at the time of the call. And finally, is it worth providing my mobile phone number to my employer if I do not have a phone that can support the Rave Panic Button app, or if I simply do not want to download it? This is a great question. If you do not have the app installed on your phone, you can still receive SMS text and email notifications when there is an incident on your campus that you need to be aware of. Therefore, it is highly recommended that you still provide your contact information to your employer, whether or not you intend to download the app. To learn more about the Rave Panic Button app, go to www.ravepanicbutton.com.
A couple of those questions. So, if you do not have a smartphone, if you have a flip phone, and y'all remember how much easier life was without smartphones? If you have a phone that you can receive a text on, please give your information, your cell phone number and email to Chris, because even though you wouldn't be able to download the panic button, you would still be able to receive the notifications. So you have to be on campus, and I'm going to actually show you your campus, your geofences, etc., to actually activate and send out notifications. And when we talk about notifications, a text, an email, and an in-app push, in-app notification. So if you have the panic button downloaded, one of your colleagues presses and holds, we'll go through this, as soon as it circles around, instantly, y'all receive the notification before 911 even answers the phone. Okay? Because that's the beauty. We're trying to provide you situational awareness so you can enact your school policy, your action item, and buy you time. Dispatch is going to do their job. They're getting first responders heading this way, but how long is it going to take them to get here? How long is it going to take your SRO to get from one side of the campus to the next? Knock on wood. We've had guns on campus. We've had some other situations where the active shooter the button was activated without a true active shooter, and I hope we never ever have to have that true incident. But the medical button is used every day. This is in every school, every public school, K through 12, and open enrollment charter. And I'm in way too many schools in my phone, and my phone just blows up all day long. And medical. So there's something for everybody, whether it's you work in the cafeteria, you're an administrator, you're a coach, special education, counselor, staff member. Many of you may have been the student athlete that collapsed while they were at practice, and we got a lot of mixed company. So the student athlete passed right there on practice. Panic button was utilized. 911 received everything, the exact drop pin notifications went out to administrators, to the medical team, to the trainers, to everyone else. Everyone was able to respond. They brought the CPR, or brought the AED, were able to start CPR, utilize the AED, and got the child back before the ambulance even arrived. And now, the student still had to spend a couple of months in children's, but he was able to finish that school year. And from an administrator standpoint, you think about that scenario, you're responding, the trainers are doing their job, they're handling the medical side of it. We still got other kids that are right there on the scene witnessing. I've got to get those kids out of that. I've got to open up for the ambulance to have a clear route. So what it's doing, it's empowering you and letting you know, I'm not alone. Special education teacher up at Prairie Grove, y'all may know her. Her student had a seizure, and this one went bad, real bad. And she stopped breathing and heart stopped. Randy used the panic button, and immediately all of her colleagues were there. And they were able to start CPR. And dispatch, again, is doing their job, but it's letting you know, okay, I got some backup. Like, really, really quick, while I'm waiting on that March unit. So that's the beauty, providing you situational awareness. And if it's a lockdown scenario, and we'll just be honest, I mean, we're all practitioners. When something really, really goes bad, we're on our own for a while. It's up to y'all to take care of one another, to take care of your kids, and that's giving you the head start. So even if you can't download the phone, please consider sharing your information so at least you can receive. You have to be on campus to activate, but you don't have to be on campus to receive. So if you're coming to school that morning and something happens, you're going to know about it, and you're not going to be rolling in to a hot zone. We were talking about earlier, I met with the bus personnel, all the bus drivers. They're coming back from a field trip with a load of kids. We want to educate and then provide situational awareness to them so they're not rolling in with a busload of kids. All right? You saw in the, what happens if you activate. So you're at home or you're at Walmart and you push the big red button. It's going to call 911. But all of us, we played with phones growing up. We called 911. It is still a cell phone. It will direct dial 911, but it's not going to lock down your campus. It's not going to send out notifications. Okay, so I just want to make that clear to everyone. All right, one of the best things with the statewide deployment, it has broken down the barriers to collaboration, because not only is Garland County squared away, but your sheriff's department, your police department, your fire, and your EMS. Everybody's talking. Everybody's working together. And they're working with your school district. So you are going to have some external first responders that are going to be in these critical notification groups. So bringing everyone to the table, first responder, school resource officer, 911, K-12. This is what we were talking about earlier. We've all seen the studies. We've all seen the reports. Typically, and again, active shooter is a hot button item. And that's what everybody's talking about. Hopefully, we never have to use it. But all the studies show they last less than 5 minutes. So if we can give you a head start and provide situational awareness, and the beauty of Smart 911, you press and hold the button, it alerts all of your colleagues. You can lock down, you can grab your kids, shut your door, whatever. But as soon as 911 answers that phone, it screams at them, panic alert, panic alert, panic alert. And it pops Jessieville School District right there. As soon as he or she answers that phone, your school's profile is right there. Floor plans, emergency contact information, quick send templates. So if you're able, please still, it's a traditional 911 call. So tell the dispatcher what you know if you can, if it's safe to do so. Because with the resources provided at the dispatch center, they can send out real-time updated information. So if the active shooter's in the library and you're all the way over on the other side of campus, now you got options. You see how if things are happening, and one of the worst things is not knowing. So, for example, Marion, West Memphis, student brought a firearm to school. It was in his backpack. The administration used active shooter to lock down the school. Everyone responded. They located the child, secured the weapon. I mean, SRO was right on top of it. March units responded. But any of you that have ever been in a true lockdown, their job's just starting. 2 hours. They were in lockdown because law enforcement, yes, they addressed the immediate threat, but now they have to complete their primary sweep of the entire campus. Then they have to do their secondary sweep of the entire campus. So you, and as adults, we're freaked. And then now I'm responsible for all my little ones, so I've got to keep myself calm, I've got to keep them calm. Dispatch was able to relay updated information. Suspects in custody, no shots fired, everything's calm. Law enforcement asked, please remain locked down there, starting their primary sweep. 8 minutes later, another update. 5 minutes later, everything's calm, suspect's in custody, suspect has been removed from the property, police are starting their secondary sweep. So we empower that teacher, that personnel. Now, all right, I can calm down and tend to my kids. You see how everything's integrated. So it's a lot bigger than just hitting a button and buying time. All right, how many were in the school district in 2015 when Panic Button was very first deployed? Okay, y'all remember, for those of you that had never experienced Panic Button, in 2015, that right there, if you touched it, it went off. No, I mean, y'all laugh. I mean, it went off. My phone blew up. Superintendents were freaking out. They were calling, oh, JP, it does. Oh, it works. It does exactly like you said. Yeah, locked down my school, called 911. I had to. So we listened to that. And now, because of Arkansas, and this is really cool, and I'm really excited about this. Arkansas was the first in the nation to deploy Smart 911 Panic Button. Oklahoma has Panic Button statewide. Louisiana has Panic Button statewide. Delaware has Panic Button statewide. And then across the rest of the United States, there's pockets in schools and private sector all over. Now, you have to press and hold for 1.5 seconds. Okay? That is a difference. You press and hold, and once we get everything downloaded, we're going to schedule training so you can actually experience it and see it. But you press, it starts circling around, just like it's shown on the slide. It's telling you, if you're not serious, take your finger off because I'm fixing. As soon as it goes around, it will send a text, an email, and an in-app notification to whatever notification group of the button you pushed. It is also two-step. Just like you saw in the video, you press and hold for 1.5 seconds. Notifications go out, so your colleagues know 911 does not know yet. The green call button. Or on Android, the green call, or the call 911 comes up. Step 1, press and hold 1.5 seconds. Notifications go out. Call button comes up. Press the button to call 911. Okay? 2 steps. It's totally different than in 2015, but it was based on the feedback that we received from Arkansas. All right, so instantly notify targeted recipients. Again, text, email, and in-app push. All right, let's talk about your geofence, your property, and Chris is your panic button administrator. So Chris has spent a lot of time, and if this is too small, you really can't see, schedule some time and go by Chris's office and say, hey, I just want to get my bearings and make sure I've got my building's covered, etc., etc. But anywhere that you see red, the geofence, you'll actually be able to activate the panic button. Like we talked about, hopefully, very, very rare, or you never have to use the big red button. Occasionally, and majority of the time, that'll be the medical activation. And then the routine, this is staff assist. And we're fixing to talk about this. Staff assist is for minor incidents that occur on your campus that y'all can handle. You don't need to call 911 for a marked response if you just had some communication tool to get another adult, to get somebody either with the authority or the proper training to come assist you. So, this came from Arkansas as well, and again, now this is across the entire U.S. Superintendents called and said, hey, we understand panic button, it's working, but we don't need to call 911 for everything. We need some type of internal communication tool. So now, every school district can create up to 10 templates. Minor incidents, and this is a living document. This is fluid. And each school district, it's all about local control because one size doesn't fit all. That's the cool thing about this flexibility. So as we're going through and setting up, initially we've got some templates set up for your use, but those may change based on the feedback and the functionality. So staff assist does not dial 911, okay? The 5 buttons at the top, press and hold 1.5 seconds. It sends out notifications. You press the green call button, 911 is notified. Down at the bottom of the app, staff assist, only internal communication. So 10 pre-configured templates. And again, Chris sets those up. For example, minor medical. Elementary school. You're out on the playground and a student falls off the monkey bars and breaks their arm. It's a compound fracture. That's a medical button. Press and hold 1.5 seconds. Call 911, I would need a marked ambulance, and I need my school nurse, my medical team, I need administrators, and any internal responders. I need help. Same scenario. Child falls off the monkey bars and gets a bloody nose. I don't need the medical button, but at a minimum, as a recess duty teacher, so somebody just said something off playing. So, y'all want to look at it and see real quick?
Packard.
Who's Packard? Okay. So, all right, just 1 second. We're going to use staff assist. Chris, do you want to send a staff assist, or you want me to? You want me to?
I will.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're fixing to get into staff assist here in just a sec, but you were fixing to see the full functionality. But you see how fast that was? So, if that were the real deal, immediately you would enact your school policy, your action item. All right? On the medical button, when we were talking about the minor medical, staff assist, that recess duty teacher needs another adult. So now we're following up. So did you see how Superintendent Spears just sent out the follow-up? That is one of the beauties of the custom, and we're fixing to talk about that here in just a sec. So you can quickly get in front of something, or if you need to share information with colleagues internally, you can utilize staff assist, and then we're going to explain that. So, back to the child that falls off the monkey bars and gets a bloody nose. We don't need the medical button, but that recess duty teacher needs another adult, so he or she doesn't have to leave their post, leave the kids unattended, nor do they have to put that responsibility on another elementary student to walk that injured child up to the nurse's office. All right? Here are the two most commonly used staff assist templates. Suspicious activity, because your administration can't be everywhere all the time, and your school resource officer can't be everywhere. But y'all are. Y'all are the eyes and ears of the district. So if you see something, you can use staff assist, the template. You can notify administration, the school resource officer, for them to follow up on. We can always escalate. If we need to move up into a lockdown, they can make that decision. And the second one, disgruntled parent. Upset parent. And some of y'all are nodding and some of y'all are grinning across the board. Not just for front office personnel, because they get it first oftentimes, but y'all in the classroom, you got parent-teacher conference, and you're back in the room by yourself, and the parent comes in and they are upset. Or you're in the front office and the parent comes in. Now they haven't crossed the line yet. They're not screaming, threatening. That's a police button. We're hitting the police button, we're sending out notifications, and we're calling for a deputy. But this parent is upset. They're venting, the arms are starting to come up, and they're well on their way to get, y'all need some help. Y'all need someone with authority, an administrator or a school resource officer, to come help de-escalate the situation before we get to that point. So each school district has up to 10. And we were just playing around, and so this is a work in process, but medical staff, situation with student, or a disruptive student. When we're talking about classroom management, you've tried, rather than get into a physical confrontation, we can just have administration SRO come. Tornado, earthquake, inclement weather, drill, and all clear. Those cannot be changed. Those templates will be available to each of you, and it will have a predetermined notification group. However, and this is what I was talking about and why I was bragging on y'all, custom staff assist. So with the custom staff assist, not only will you have access to the 10 templates, but you will, at the very bottom of your template list will be custom. You'll select custom. Once you do it the first time, you'll have to set up a 4-digit PIN. But after that, you select custom. It'll ask you to enter your 4-digit PIN. And then you have 143 characters to freehand. And again, I applaud the administration because they're empowering y'all to send notifications. And you'll be able to pick, do I need to send this out to all staff? Do I need to send this to the administrators? Do I need to send this to my SRO and the responder group? Or do I need to send this to my medical team? Or is this critical and I need to check mark all 4 and send it district-wide? I mean, with that comes a lot of responsibility, because with staff assist, you do not have to be on campus. All right? So think about that. If you're in Chicago at a conference, and let's say you're a team lead or you're over a division, and something happens, immediately you're going to get it on your panic button. Your panic button's going to blow up. You're going to say, oh my gosh, I need to send it back my action item, or I need to let my people know something. Immediately, you're sitting in Chicago at the conference, you can go to Staff Assist, open it up, custom 4-digit PIN, and you can send that information. I want you to be fully aware there is a full audit trail. Let me see if it's, oh, we've got that in just a sec. There is a full audit trail in the reporting section of this. And so everything that is written is documented. And when you hit send, and it's the same thing when you activate panic button, at that precise moment, it grabs your location. So it drop pins in the reports tab exactly where you were at that point. So if you're at home and you send a message out, it's going to drop pin you at home. If you're in Chicago, sitting in the convention center, it's going to drop pin. All right? If you're driving down the road and something happens and you need to send something out, it will drop in. So I just want to make y'all aware, this is a wonderful, wonderful tool, but there's a full audit trail documenting who sent it, when they sent it, the location, and the data, the content of that message.
Can I interrupt for just a second?
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll do some more training on this, but part of the reasoning behind this and giving you access to that, this is not so you can text everybody at one time. This is for in the event of an emergency. And we had, when the crisis team had been working and talking and how do we say we do have to go into a tornado drill or a lockdown in place, and maybe you've got students who had gone to the library. You don't know where those 2 students are, and how do we communicate back and forth? And we had examined some other apps that allowed all of that, and they were very pricey. And anyway, after we met with JP, and we found out we can do that through this app. And so that's one of the reasons we are giving you access to that. So say we're in that situation, you're missing 2 students, you need to notify the administrators, we're locked down, we're fine, but I don't know where these 2 kids are. And so then we know we need to start trying to find these two kids. We need to know that they're safe and they're good. So, and we'll do some more talking about that, but that's the reasoning behind that. It's so we can communicate back and forth in the event of an emergency.
Great, and thank you very much for that clarification. Did you want to pull up, did you have anything pulled up, Chris? The one, I didn't know if you still had that pulled up, the location. Okay, so that's how precise it is. I mean, it's dropping right on top of the building, right in the location of where you are at in that building. So that is panic button and or staff assist. So 911 actually sees. When you call 911, when you activate the panic button, again, we're trying to give them as much information, precise information, for them to expedite that response, the correct response to you, so they have and know where you're at. Thank you. And then if we can go back to the So, do employees have to use panic button to call 911? You need to call 911 the quickest and the safest way. If you're in your office, in your classroom, and you have a phone in your office or your classroom, and heck, you left your cell phone, which has a panic button, out in the car, pick up the landline and call 911. If you're somewhere and there's a landline and your phone's across the room, but you're closer, pick up the landlines. Can also be entered into the profile to send out notifications and letting them know. So don't think, oh, I've got to have my panic button, my phone, the quickest and the safest way. We covered this, what happens if I press the Rave panic button when I'm not at work. It will call 911, but it does not send out notifications. I don't have a smartphone. How do I benefit? Again, even though you wouldn't be able to download it and activate it, you can still receive information from your colleagues. This is just what Chris logs in. This is where he enters the information and provides the geofences. I wanted to explain this. It's all local control across the state. So your administration owns how this is set up. So right now, best practice, active shooter and fire. If you download panic button, you will automatically be in the notification group. Everyone will receive active shooter and fire. Now, if there's a medical activation, you may not receive that one. Unless you have specialized training, unless you're on that designated team, there's no reason to disrupt the classroom, to have everybody, logistically, many of y'all wouldn't be able to leave your kids unattended and respond, even if you were CPR certified. So there's going to be a designated team that's on that AED, CPR, that medical team. So I just didn't want anybody to get their feelings hurt or think, well, it went off and I didn't know anything, I didn't get it. There's a reason why, and so I just wanted to explain that on the front end. Any questions? I know that was quick and fast. What questions do you have for me? So Ms. Harper, yes, staff assist would work if you wanted people to get on the bus faster. Everybody wasn't in here. I was sitting in the back and I heard a funny story. So yes, you could hit every staff member and tell them, and y'all should have seen the face she did. It was really good. But Any questions? Serious questions? What? Yes, sir. Okay, very good question. So, y'all remember I told you, his question was, he opened up the app, and if you'll just hold it up, you have a slide lock that will pop up. So, real quick story. Deploy in 2015, we had a bunch of inadvertent activations because you touched it and it went off. Superintendents were freaking, so we're like, okay, we put the press and hold 1.5 seconds in. Pretty much did away, handful of inadvertent activations. Until a superintendent had the phone in his back pocket, had the app open, and he went into a meeting. And he got in the chair, and he moved and moved and moved, and got just right on his right hip for 1.5 seconds. And guess what button he sat on? Active shooter. And it set it off. So, I get another phone call. Hey, appreciate the press and hold. That really helped. We need another safety enhancement. So now you have a screen lock. So if you open up your app and there's no activity, you throw it in your purse, you put it in your pocket, whatever it may be, screen lock comes up, you can't activate it. But if you need it, you just swipe it, press and hold. So that's why that's there now. Very good question. What else? The government? That is who gets to control everything. That's who's paying for everything for all the schools. Very good question. What else? Yes, ma'am.
When you send out an alert, is it anonymous to all the race laws? If I send out a message, is it going to say from Ms. James or from Emily? Like, I don't even know who.
Okay, that's a very good question. Her question was, and then you will actually be able to see. As a matter of fact, if you received the alert earlier, it will show whatever the type of incident that was pushed. So type of incident, location of the incident, name of the employee that activated, and timestamp. So no ma'am, it's a full timestamp and audit for everyone to see, and then there's a full audit trail that Chris has access to. Same thing when 911, we were talking about if you're locked down and 911 has to push updated information, it'll actually show it from 911 so you know who is sending the messages. If you send a custom staff assist, it will actually show who that individual person was sending the custom staff assist. Very good, thank you. What else? Okay, the question on staff assist. So once you get the panic button downloaded, so the question was, how do we set up staff assist? Once you set up panic button and you download it, when you download it, it's going to ask you to enter your cell phone number. And then once you do that, it's going to text you a confirmation code. What it's doing when you enter your cell phone number, it's checking Jessieville School District profile, making sure you're an authorized user to download and use the panic button for this district. If you are, it will send you a confirmation code. It will allow you to download it. As soon as it downloads, you'll have a quick 5-slide tutorial that you'll just swipe through to the left. You'll have your 5 buttons, and then your staff assist. You'll just press staff assist. It'll open up. You'll be able to see all of the templates, and the very last template will be custom, and it will ask you to set up your 4-digit PIN. If for some reason that you can't set up your 4-digit PIN, just get with Chris. He can send you a reset PIN request, and that is how you set it up. What other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, I like those questions.
Well, you were talking about a slide lock. When I opened it up, it literally was not there, and then I guess I closed it out and opened it back up again.
Okay, I am just in Maumelle. I mean, I live in Maumelle, so if y'all need anything, talk to Chris. He can call me. I'm more than happy to come up and spend as much time with y'all, and I appreciate the opportunity. And like I said, y'all got a really good group of folks, and y'all got some really great administrators, and being very, very progressive. So I appreciate and applaud everything that y'all do. Thank you for your time.